Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talkback. It is Friday. It is Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
The only one in 2025.
Wow.
Is that right?
That's right.
Huh.
I feel like we had a few last year.
There were 3 last year, but
Ooh.
only 1 this year. So,
Okay.
isn't that weird?
That is kind of weird. I did not know that. That is wild. That is wild.
I remember last year there was a couple of them, and by the third one I was like, oh, Friday the 13th. It wasn't fun to talk about anymore.
Kind of wore it out.
Well, we're on its welcome, like the movies.
Exactly.
Kind of like Nathan here on Friday mornings.
I never saw him.
No,
That's true. A rarity.
my wife every time I come home.
Oh, come on now. Now we went dark all of a sudden.
Stephen is settling into his new role, and man, you had some busy days this week.
It is. Been fun. Got a couple shoots planned today. Going over to Nathan's territory.
Uh-oh.
We'll see what's going on. Good stuff.
Oh, good.
Happy stuff.
I like happy stuff.
Me too.
Good. That's good.
Well, it's been nice seeing you, man. I love you rolling stuff out. You almost live online now, because you've got so much great content, you know. And you just, whether you're standing on the side of the expressway filming stuff or, you really, and I know I've heard y'all talk about the new camera, but man, you put out some great content.
Yeah, we started using that little Osmo camera. It's fantastic, and I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to, I think you sent it to me, Al. You probably know about this. The Forestry Service is doing that excavation at the old LSU campus.
I had heard it announced. I didn't realize it was happening right now.
Happening today, yeah.
Awesome.
Might go check it out.
With the rain?
With the who?
Isn't it raining?
I hope not.
It was.
I had to find little pockets yesterday on the radar to say, okay, I can go out this time. And
it was one of those days where you were kind of dancing between the raindrops.
Yep.
So, but looks like the rain has moved out of the area, at least for now. We'll see what it brings later today. So, but right now we look okay, which is great. So, should mention too that your doppelganger has a birthday today.
Who?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. I don't know who you're going to say.
People know him as Captain America.
Okay.
But everyone...
I'm like off-brand Captain America.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a little
value.
There's a little similarity there, though. You want to feel old? The Olsen twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley, are 39. The twins from Full House.
I really felt old without that. And
I know.
Older.
No. Well, you already hit 60.
I did.
I'm on my way there.
You're close.
So the reality is starting to settle in. So, my goodness.
I don't want to be all introspective or anything, but I had no problem turning 40, 30, 40, 50. Those were great, but 60s felt weird.
I bet.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even going to talk about it. Let's talk about something else.
I got about 28 more years.
Speaking of birthdays,
whippersnapper.
Tomorrow the president turns 79.
I think we've heard that.
Did you know about that?
I don't know, maybe like parades or something.
What else is going on tomorrow?
Well, it does happen to be the 250th anniversary of the founding of the American Army, the U.S. Army.
That is correct. It's also Flag Day tomorrow.
That's right. On the 14th.
Yeah, and they're having the event at Pineville.
10 o'clock tomorrow morning. They're on the flat area by the giant flag. If you drive across the bridge, you already see all the flags.
Okay, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, so the Exchange Club started doing this a few years ago as a fundraiser, and it's the Field of Honor, I believe it's called, and people can purchase a flag in honor of someone. They don't have to be a service member. It can be just someone that may be a patriotic member of your family, and you purchase this flag, and then they put it up for like a week, and so it creates this beautiful view as people drive across the bridge and see that. Saturday at 10, there'll be a special ceremony where they'll have speakers and dignitaries and different things, and then after if you'd like to, you can bring your flag home because you paid for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They should leave them. It's nice.
If they left them, it should be for a certain time frame, right? Because you don't want to leave it year round.
The city's like, clean it up. I took a picture out there the other day. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty cool looking.
Yeah,
but I'll do that later.
That is a great event that they have. And again, that's happening at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We also know tomorrow across the country is, what is it, No King Day? Or
No King Day protest. We have one here in Alexandria, allegedly.
Scheduled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
They are, I'm reading on Twitter chatter that a lot of people are worried that these are going to turn violent around the country. So let's pray for our country today that it doesn't. I mean, everyone has a right to protest.
Absolutely.
Nobody cares. I mean, nobody's trying to stop anyone from protesting. It's when they cross the line and get into violence, whether it's attacking people or property, there's no place for that.
Well, when you start throwing chunks of concrete off of overpasses and oncoming traffic, and you call that protest, that's a felony.
That's attempted murder.
That's right.
So anyway, praying that it's not so bad tomorrow. But, we're kind of in a world stage right now, too, where things are getting a little hot. Overnight, you've probably heard or read of Israel, their coordinated attacks on Iran using drones. From what I've been reading, they actually this has been going on for weeks and weeks, the planning of it, and they had drones in place that took out most of the generals for Iran, and as well as some of their top scientists working on the nuclear development. So absolutely. What scares you is, like, you look at now kind of in the last couple of weeks, the coordinated, very successful precision attacks of Israel and Iran, of Ukraine into Russia. What are they using? Drones.
Right. And they're almost more effective than human-piloted aircraft.
Yes. And what concerns me, and I think UPS Dave even called in the other day, you look at all the people that have come into our country illegally with nefarious purposes, all it takes is a drone. I mean, and you can't see that, you can't hear that. So I'm not trying to scare people here, but it's kind of like Yoda said, begun the drone wars have.
I heard you use that line the other day, and nobody gave you credit for it, but
I appreciate it.
Steven got it.
Yeah.
I'm a Star Wars nerd.
He is.
Well, now Tehran is saying that they saw Israeli jets. That's what they're claiming. That, and that would be another incursion of sovereignty if you bring jets over. Yeah. But, Israel's saying they just use drones. So the level. Now, I was in church last night at a church service, and I hate to say this, but I glanced at my phone every now and then and got the notification that Israel has struck, and it felt surreal that, this is a whole nother level of escalation. And, the Gaza thing was certainly surreal, the attack on Gaza, but this level of escalation. And what's interesting is, Israel's been telegraphing this for quite some time.
Well, that's what made it interesting, because it was essentially like a well-calculated smokescreen.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people were thinking they've been talking about it, and they're just threatening, and they're not going to do it. But they flipped it on them.
And then Trump sent word out to send all non-essential personnel home. Yeah, so he knew it was close.
Yeah, reports say that Washington did know. So
Anyway, we have some calls coming in on the BOM Bank talk line coming up at 7:30. Randy Wiggins will be in the studio. Tell us about a fundraising golf tournament for the GOP here, the local Republican Party. Let's go to the phones. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
We just had 4 years of a drone for president, but he wasn't very efficacious.
Point well taken.
I got some questions, though. These invaders that are protesting and rioting in Los Angeles, and they're waving Mexican flags. They're out there rioting and fighting for a country they won't live in.
Yeah, exactly. The irony.
And then if they get California, Texas, New Mexico, and that's they're going to include that in Mexico. Where are they going to run to next? After they wreck those places when they turn them into Mexico. It's like all these people that immigrate to the United States, and they bring whatever absolutely miserable philosophy and religion that they had back in their original countries.
Or people
what are they running from?
Or people moving from California to Colorado and Texas and bringing the same political ideology and running those states. So. Yeah.
I mean, it's you're just bringing this virus, this bacteria with you everywhere you go, and you're too stupid to associate that ideology and religion with your misery.
Good point.
I get what you're saying, but there's a ton of people who come to this country who realize they don't want nothing to do with what they came from.
Oh, absolutely.
They embrace the idea of what they're coming here to. They want to be a part of it. So there's definitely, I would say, I don't know how to even quantify this, but it could be the majority of them.
Yeah, no,
that
you're
would
right.
love to just be acclimated and be a part of what we have going on here.
Well, I know some Californians here, and buddy, they think like we do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Northern California.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, it's L.A. area and San Francisco. That's your kook concentrations.
And Berkeley.
Well, berserkly, yeah. All right, I'll see y'all later.
Okay, thanks. You know, it's interesting because even I heard on CBS this morning that President Trump has started to make some comments like deporting illegal immigrants maybe is starting to impact the farm industry, the hotel industry. And this is something that I've kind of felt all along. We need to have sensible immigration. And if there are people that want to come here and work and contribute and be parts of society and be taxpayers and love America and its values, by all means, you know, let's facilitate that. But what the Biden administration allowed the last 4 years was just chaos and disruption, and about building blue cities and blue states to have a larger census base so that they get more representation in Congress.
I mean, open borders is has a minority support behind it. I think a lot of people on the left and the right love the idea of, hey, let's have sensible immigration when it comes to coming in the country.
Yeah.
However, it's not a made-up statistic that illegal immigrants commit less crimes than actual Americans. So that's what the problem becomes whenever you just kind of generalize
However,
the statement.
you don't know because a lot of the blue cities and blue states are not reporting a lot of the crimes too. So I don't know if I trust the statistics, to be very honest, in a lot of cases. And what we're seeing in some cases are extremely violent crimes, like over the line, like, you know, when you look at the Nungary girl, when you look at Lake and Riley, when you look at Rachel Morin, and if you saw Rachel Morin's mother a few weeks ago at the White House or at the press briefing, describe exactly what he did to her daughter.
Oh, I know.
So.
But it just when it fits a narrative, those things kind of get highlighted over other things too, and it can make you think that this is the majority of what's happening. 100%.
Because I mean, you watch the news and it's like, you know, they'll focus on the immigrant who's coming with, you know, it's the father and son and their little kids.
Yeah, it depends on the outlet, right?
Yeah, they don't focus on the, you know, 150 Chinese military-age men that are coming into the country. You know? So anyway.
Hey, exactly. I agree.
Hot topic. We got the phones lit up, but we need to take a break. When we come back, Randy Wiggins will join us, and then we'll get back to more open line with you for the rest of the day.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures point to a drop at the opening bell, while crude prices surge after Israel attacked Iran's nuclear program sites. Airlines, including Emirates, British Airways, and Turkish Airlines, have been diverting flights in the Middle East. Israel's El Al has suspended flights from the country. Jordan temporarily closed its airspace. Meanwhile, shipping lines, brokers, and analysts are warning of risks to key maritime thoroughfares in the Middle East. Some of the world's most vital waterways are in the region. Don't be surprised to see prices rising at the pump because of today's spike in oil prices. One of our reporters writes that with U.S. crude and gas inventories already at 5-year lows, the summer driving season just became a lot more expensive. And he says that this also means the Fed, in addition to tariff uncertainty, now has to consider how all of this will impact inflation overall. Once again, stock futures point to a drop at the opening bell on this Friday morning. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
This summer, the Rapides Parish Library is turning up the volume and getting all jazzed up. Whether you're a cool cat or a little bebopper, there's something happening every week at your local branch. Live performances, hands-on crafts, cool programs for kids, teens, and adults. And yes, plenty of reading, too. Shake off that summer slump and keep the whole family learning and creating and having a blast. Read what you love, track your minutes, and win prizes. Join the fun and get all jazzed up this summer at RPL.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
All right, we are back here on this Friday morning. Al Quartermont, Nathan Martin, Stephen Maxwell, He just ran out to get some coffee, I think. And joining us is Randy Wiggins with the Republican Party of Rapides Parish. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Al and Nathan, Stephen.
Morning, sir.
Good to have you with us today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So one thing we know about Republicans, they like golfing.
I do like golfing.
Because Democrats do too. Barack Obama was famous for golfing. But this is actually the Reagan Invitational Golf Tournament coming up a week from today at Links on the Bayou. Tell us about it.
Okay. Well, for several years, we've had the Reagan Dinner. It's been our major fundraiser. And this year, we decided to not do the Reagan Dinner.
Oh, really?
Yes. And instead, do the Reagan Invitational Golf Tournament.
Okay.
The inaugural Reagan Invitational Golf Tournament. President Reagan was the guy that inspired most of us to become Republicans to begin with.
Right.
And so we've honored him, and we continued that theme through this golf tournament. And so on the 20th, which is next Saturday, or next Friday, actually, we will be at the Links on the Bayou, do a 4-man scramble, and we'll start somewhere around 11:30, getting together. We'll have lunch, and then we'll tee off at 1 o'clock. And we've got 17 teams registered so far. We think we'll probably fill it up to around 20.
What were some of the factors of deciding to move away from a dinner to a golf tournament?
Well, we looked at it, and it's just something that we wanted to do as we look for opportunity to involve other people. And we're certainly going to still look at that next year. We'll be back to the Republican dinner, Reagan dinner next year, I'm sure.
Okay.
I remember when I was a young whippersnapper, I interviewed Michael Reagan at the, what's that hotel on 167 for the Reagan dinner?
The hotel on 167.
Is it 167?
And was it
the fancy one, the Courtyard or whatever? I don't know. But I remember doing it.
Comfort Inn and Suites?
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was several years ago. He was one of our guests.
That was a long time ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how about that? So, how can people join? Do they have to be on a team?
They don't have to be on a team. We can slot them onto a team. We'll always have people that have to replace some folks on the team. So certainly they can join, or we can make a team if they'd like to join. So they can go. It's $100 per person, $400 per team.
Okay.
And so we have several sponsors who are joining and supporting us in this, and you can be a whole sponsor, which basically this year we'll be doing something new at the Links, and on their golf carts they have a really nice digital display. And so when you pull up to hole 1, if KSYL Talkback sponsored hole 1, which is then your display would be on that cart, and be on that cart until we got to hole 2, and then it could be Randy Wiggins State Farm or something.
Sure.
Is the next one.
There you go. Well, you need to hit up Charlie and Taylor for sponsorship.
Yeah.
We don't spend the money around. Well, they spend it on us.
We ain't got no money.
And it's kind of cool. You have a flyer right now that's got a QR code where people can pay through Venmo, making it pretty simple and convenient.
This we sure do, and that is convenient for a lot of folks. They've asked us to do that, and so we want to include that in our flyer. Also, if you have questions about it, you can call 318-792-7879. That's 318-792-7879. Or you can register by email at rapidrepublicans@gmail.com.
I mean, Randy wanted to switch it up to a golf tournament because he wants to show everyone up.
No, that's not me.
Okay.
I have people ask me if I play golf, and I say, well, I have clubs. And sometimes I go right around, and actually, I've sort of transitioned to doing more hunting, but I'm actually thinking about transitioning back to golf.
Okay.
Again, yeah.
Hunt the white balls is what you're going to hunt then.
Oh, and I do a lot of that.
Yeah. My favorite golf course that I played on a lot when I lived in Wisconsin was basically cut out of the woods. So, yeah, every other shot was pretty much in the woods.
Oh, so bad. I went the other week.
But I'd go in the woods to find my ball, and I'd come out with 3 or 4 more. So it was actually kind of a positive thing.
You're just hunting balls all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have prizes, long balls, close to the hole, that sort of thing, some putting game that we're going to play, and have some elected officials who'll be there. So you guys come out and have lunch with us, and it's going to be a good day.
Golf really kind of provides an opportunity for some fellowship too, people kind of hanging out afterwards or before, so you also have that dynamic.
Exactly. That's one of the things that we really try to do as a Republican Party of Rapides Parish is provide opportunities for folks to mix and mingle with the elected officials. And so we'll do town hall meetings a lot of times, and then last year when we had the Reagan dinner, one of our major thrusts and one of the things we really want to do is make Alexandria and Central Louisiana a destination point for our statewide elected officials. Most of the time they look at us as being a flyover to Shreveport or someplace like that.
Sure.
So we were able to, with the Reagan dinner last year, host all 5 in one evening here in Central Louisiana, a dinner. We were about 300 people. And we had all the statewide elected officials from the Attorney General, Secretary of State, Secretary of Agriculture, Commissioner of Insurance. All of those people were there in one place at one time in Central Louisiana. That was a first, as far as I know. And I've been around a while.
Are you going to get them to play golf?
Excuse me?
Are you going to get them to play some golf?
No, we haven't got they don't have time right now. And right now, all of them are running for the hills. I remember when I was in session, that last day, everybody took off, if you've been down there, because no matter who you are or what side you were on, when they said sine die, everybody got in their car and took off. Nobody wanted to talk to anybody else because they weren't really sure who their friends were and who the enemies were after the day, because apples became oranges and oranges became apples that last day. And it's a very interesting process if you've never seen it. It's fun.
Friends is a strong word for Baton Rouge. So.
It is.
Depends who's spending the money.
Exactly.
We do have a call coming in. Can we take that? Let's go ahead and jump on that on the BOM Bank Talk line. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
So I'm a little slow on the uptake, so I have a question for this Republican official. Do the Republicans have a majority in both houses down there?
Yes, we do. Actually, we have a supermajority.
And is the governor Republican?
The governor is a registered Republican.
And so why aren't things changing?
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying right now. I think they're wondering whether they're expecting certain types of leadership. And let's talk about the evolution of a Republican just a little bit, if you don't mind. I think it's a great question, what you're asking. And I think they are changing. I think that we have to recognize, one, that there are people culturally invested in the election process in Louisiana that have tremendous influence. And so that nut is a hard nut to crack, and we're doing it slowly. And you never know when someone says he's a Republican, is he truly a conservative Republican? Is he truly a person of the people, or is he truly a Republican in name only, which we call rhinos? So our biggest challenge right now, even locally, last time I counted, we had 87 Republican elected officials in Rapides Parish. Now, when I ran in 96, I was the first elected Republican to the legislature since carpetbagging days.
Wow.
That was in 96.
Wow.
Since that time, we now have 87 elected Republicans. And our challenge is now, which is the best Republican? Who is truly a conservative? And sometimes that's a difficult process as well. You think you know, but until the proof is really in the pudding, right? How they vote, how they engage, who their friends are, who they coalesce with, all that sort of thing.
All right.
Am I still on?
Yes, you are.
So you're talking about things are changing slowly. My insurance premiums aren't changing slowly. So why would we continue to vote for somebody who has an R behind their name when things don't change?
Well, I think you have to really examine that. And again, you mentioned insurance rates, and obviously then that's what I do. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and I own firsthand every day deal with folks who have to make a decision. Some of them make a decision to go uninsured on their homeowners. That's a terrible decision to have to make. And we can fix that. And we've actually, believe it or not, made some strides. I know recently State Farm which is my company, just recently announced a 5.5% rate decrease, and the homeowner rates are stabilizing. And so I think there are some measures that's been taken that's going to stabilize and begin that process to happen. Also remember that we just come out of a period of time where we had 30% inflation rate by the previous administration on the federal level. 30% means everything went up 30%. So when an insurance company pays, no matter what kind of legislation you have, when an insurance company has to start paying 30% more on everything that you insure, and you've got a rate structure that is based on the way it was before when it was 3% or 2% inflation rate, you've got to adjust because you have to pay that claim. People come, we had difficulty even during claim times because you couldn't get material for one thing because of that. And if you did, you couldn't price it right. The price of a 2x4 would go from $3 to $8.
Right.
And so all those things impacted the inflation rate and the insurance rate. So I think we're going to start seeing, just because now we're getting that under control, I think you'll see those start coming down. But insurance rates and claims processes and all that is not a slow process. That is like turning an aircraft carrier. It's not like turning on a dime. You can't just drop the rate because you've got things in process that you have to pay. And you've got claims that have been made over the past 6 months or a year even.
It's a great point about inflation. I hadn't really thought about that impacting things.
I guess the question would be like, how do we get those rates down to where they're not higher than the national average, regardless of inflation?
So let me answer that.
Tell you what, can I pause that answer? I need to take a break.
Yes.
You can stay for another segment.
Okay,
all right,
sure.
Great. We'll be right back with Randy and get that answer.
KSYL.
Close your eyes and feel the sun-drenched breeze of southern Spain. From whitewashed villages to golden beaches, this is where history meets passion. Moorish palaces, flamenco night, and unforgettable tapas. This small group, escorted by Amy and Christine in March 2026, will visit Seville, Cordoba, Granada, Marbella, and more. Join our spectacular Spain tour, beaming with culturally rich and local experiences. FreedomTravelLLC.com, your international travel architect.
Word's out. Chef John is at it again this Father's Day. Dad eats free at Quibido's Cajun Cafe in Pineville. We're celebrating Dad with a special menu just for him and the family. Choose from stuffed catfish, tender prime sliced beef, juicy stuffed pork loin, or blackened chicken pasta. It's dine-in only from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and tables will fill fast, so plan to come early. Dad dines free when he's joined by his family. So whether you call him Dad, Papa, or Papi, bring him to Quibido's Cajun Cafe in Pineville.
So, June has finally arrived, and you don't have to have a thermometer to tell it's hot outside. Keep your home comfortable all year long with Southern Air. Now through the end of June, get a comprehensive AC tune-up for only $69 per system. Book your appointment by the 30th to lock in this special offer. Don't wait until your cooling system fails on the hottest day of the year. Act now, let us bear it. Visit southernairnow.com or call 318-777-5555.
All of us have that one friend who can just light up the room with a smile. And sadly, how many of us are just a little bit envious of that friend? Well, here's the good news. The folks over at Today's Dental in Pineville can deliver that beautiful beaming smile. Over the years, hundreds of hopeful patients have visited and been completely satisfied. They've made getting dental implants an amazingly simple, low-anxiety procedure, one that's affordable for anyone's budget. The staff at Today's Dental go out of their way to make you feel comfortable with calming in-office IV sedation that's administered by a highly skilled, certified nurse anesthetist. And their multiple finance options make the entire procedure truly affordable. Isn't it your turn to light up that room? Give Today's Dental a call at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Gauthier. That's 448-4540.
Did you know that 71% of all licensed real estate agents did not sell a single property in 2024? Hi, this is Trish Lala. When it's time to make the largest financial decision of your life, buying or selling a home, what's happening in the market really matters. The good news is you actually can still come out ahead if you place your trust in an agency with decades of experience handling all of those ups and downs. When experience matters, we're here for you. The Trish Lala Group.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYL. Now back to Talkback.
All right, we're back. Al, Nathan, and Stephen. And we also have Randy Wiggins in the studio with us. We're talking about a golf tournament that's coming up on June 20th, the Reagan Invitational Golf Tournament. And if you want more information on that, you can call 318-792-7879. But getting back to Stephen's question as pertaining to insurance, do you want to reiterate the question?
Yeah, so with inflation, we're talking about maybe prices will come down as that gets better. But how do we get Louisiana's average or the Louisiana price average below the national average, not so high?
Right, great.
Or at least to the national average.
At least to the national average.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And that's certainly a category we don't want to be number one in, right? Having the highest, because that causes all type of difficulty. We pay way too much money in insurance premium that can be used in our state, be used with our families, could be used, in our areas. And so, to answer your question, the variables are pretty much the same, with the exception of one thing. One is our culture that we've had historically high, for lack of a better term, ambulance chasing attorneys, very aggressive, very, very aggressive in the marketplace with advertising. And then we've got a low per capita income, so sometimes folks will have an opportunity to get maybe a higher award, and that they may see that as being almost like the bumper sticker that says, "Hit me, I need the money." That's kind of mentality that we've had in our state to some degree.
Sure.
But the problem really is, and the legislature, to answer the gentleman's question, the legislature really did a good job this year. They've done the research. The Commissioner of Insurance is on the side of making rates come down. And so we identify which laws need to be changed, and the legislature basically passed those laws. The governor has a different idea with some of them. And so basically, we're going to have to see now how this package is going to. I think the overall effect is rates will come down. Will they come down as fast as we want them to? This just remains to be seen. But
Sure.
There are two bills that was passed was concerning. One is going back to something that we fought very difficult to take the political side of it out of the insurance rating commissioner's hands and take the data. He's always been able to look at the insurance company's data and look at it retrospectively and say, hey, did you charge work correctly? Did you not? And take the actuarial data and decide and adjust if he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
He can still do that. But now the idea that the governor wants us to have the insurance rating commissioner actually even go back and say, you've charged too much and we're going to penalize you, that's going to put a chilling effect on new people coming in, new companies, and that's been our problem. A lot of companies just do not want to pay. They don't want to come in here to play. No matter how much money is in the insurance industry, they don't want to come here because it's difficult for them to manage their business, and so they stay out.
Yeah, a lot of people see it as more price fixing, which doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. It never works. And so
definitely not a Republican concept either.
No, exactly. The marketplace and free marketplace, basically, most companies, like the company that I work for, that I'm an agent for, if you go to Mississippi, if you go to Arkansas, if you go to Texas, same variables, trial lawyers, accidents,
sure,
everything, but your rate will be 30 to 50% less. So when people move from those states and come here and we give them a rate, it's sticker shock.
Yeah.
Because they've come from Arkansas and they pay 50% less. So when we give them the rates, they say, okay, that's about what I'm paying now per year. And we say, no, that's for 6 months here.
Oh,
yeah.
It was tough coming from Florida to here again. So
it is.
At least insurance-wise.
It is. So I think we're moving in that direction. To answer the gentleman's question, I think that you're going to see it's going to take a little bit of processing to go through for us to actually know what's going to happen and the effect the laws are going to have. You'll have some cases that are going to be as they were processed, and you're going to have some that's going to be processed as the new laws take effect. Let's hope that they come down, because we definitely have to have some relief.
For sure. So what we're saying is we need the big lobbying dollars to get out of it so we can make a change.
Yes.
I'm holding my breath.
I heard Moon yesterday was talking about a quote that John Schroeder made when he was running for governor, that the only thing ultimately he said that matters down in Baton Rouge is money.
Oh, yeah.
So, yikes. I feel like we saw some of that happen this session for sure. All right, let's take another call for Randy. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Randy, something I've kind of misunderstood, and I passed on this uninsured motorist for years because somebody told me somewhere in the past that if you wanted to collect on it, you had to get a lawyer and sue the insurance company. But maybe I'm the only one, but could you straighten me out, or should I have uninsured motorist insurance?
Yes, sir. That is a great question. We get that all the time. You do not have to sue anyone for your uninsured motorist to pay. There are two types of uninsured motorists that people can decide on whether or not they should have. Our percentage of uninsured motorists is not nearly as great as it used to be. It used to be 30%. It's not as great as it was. But basically what uninsured motorist does is this. If you're involved in an accident with someone and their limit is not enough to cover you, your injuries, replace your income or your medical or your other expenses regarding that one accident, then your uninsured motorist will pay. So you have one type of uninsured motorist, which is 50% less expensive than the other. One type of uninsured motorist is called economic only uninsured motorist, where you can make sure with that you get made whole. In other words, whatever out-of-pocket expenses you have, loss of wages, medical, other expenses, you can recover that through your uninsured motorist, and you do not have to sue for that. The insurance company will clearly pay for that, just like it's one of your other comp or collision or other coverages. The other uninsured motorist, which again is much more expensive, will allow you to, at that time, not only collect your out-of-pocket expenses and make you whole, it will also let you almost sue your own insurance company, or basically collect on your own insurance company for the special damages, the pain and suffering, those kind of things that are very difficult to put a number on. But that's where a lot of times the trial lawyers especially, they love to have the other type of uninsured motorist. They'd much rather have a person with a high uninsured motorist coverage and maybe be dealing with a person who has a low liability rate, because it's easier to collect on uninsured motorists than it is to maybe collect from the liability piece.
Makes sense.
So the cheaper one would be the best one to go with, then maybe?
Well, I can't tell you that. I can't say the best because I don't know what situation you're going to be in, you know.
Right.
And so what I tell our folks is this is how this one works. Now, if you want the right and you want to pay twice as much for the other uninsured motors, if you want the right to lay on your sofa and be aggravated and say, I want to make $10,000 on this claim, I'm aggravated, and that's my right, then do that. I mean, those are decisions that we can make individually, but you just need to know how it works and where you are. Most importantly, I would say your most important coverage is your liability, because that's the one that everybody's hunting you for. They want to come after your assets. They want to know what you have worked hard for, set aside. And if you're the person who's driving around the South Circle and it's your turn to go, and you look back to see if it's okay, it's clear, and the person before you wants to hit his brakes and make you hit him in the rear, that is that's an occurrence that happens all the time in the city. So be very careful around the South Circle.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for the explanation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We only got about a minute left. You've been on the job now as Rapides Parish Police Juror for District B for a few months.
Yes.
Overall thoughts?
Well, I'm enjoying it, and so there's a learning curve obviously to go, because again we're dealing with the culture here that's been going on for a long time. It's a little different than it is on the state level but what I really like about serving here is I get involved and have my boots on the ground right here in the dirt around Rapides Parish and around District B, which means what I really like to do is I like to visit with the fire districts, the water districts, the recreational districts, the people who are volunteering their time, the people who believe in their community, go out and visit with them and see what they're seeing, see what they're thinking. And like City of Pineville is in my district, which is really, really good for me as well. And so it's a great district when I'm working in. I'm enjoying it. I'm been given chairmanship of the Workforce Development Committee, which is a really strong area in our parish. And so I've got that, and then I'm working with a couple other things, and so it's fun. It's interesting. We got thrown into my first vote was about the ambulance situation. I was given this big thick 1-inch binder, says here's what you need to know, and you're going to vote. And so we've got a new ambulance company now. At this point, we're wishing them the best. Its most important thing is our people need to be able to have emergency services and have it right away as soon as possible. And so it's a matter of life and death. We can't mess that up.
For sure. All right, again, it's the Reagan Invitational Golf Tournament. Links on the Bayou. A week from today, June 20th, 11 a.m., $100 a person, $400 a team, 4-man scramble. If you would like to get more information, rapidesrepublicans@gmail.com. You can check out their Facebook page as well. Randy Wiggins, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we're back after this.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Hello, I'm Dr. Noah Miller. I'm the new guy at the clinics. I'm a family medicine physician from Vedrine, Louisiana, and I'm now accepting new patients. Call today for an appointment. The clinics offers a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, urgent and acute care, on-site lab and x-ray as well. Same-day appointments are available, and we accept most insurance and Medicare. Experience exceptional care at the clinics. 1587 North Bolton. Call 445-9823 or reach us online at theclinics.us. Looking forward to seeing you at the clinics.
Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we are back. We've only got about a minute left, but we can try to squeeze in a call here. Good morning. You're on Talkback. Oh, you there? So they dropped off. Let's try another one. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning, fellas. This is Aaron Atwood from over at Atwood's Bakery.
Hey, Aaron.
I just wanted to stop in, and because I know y'all aren't going to be there tomorrow or Sunday, to wish all three of you gentlemen a happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Get a little bit of acknowledgement because, you know, Mother's Day gets all the glory as it should, but don't forget about fathers.
Well,
we're all doing our best out here.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. Good reminder.
When you said you wanted to stop in, does that mean you're bringing something sweet to us, or you're just like commenting, stopping to call?
Well, do you have a guest next hour?
We don't, as a matter of fact. So if you need to pop in and wish us in person a happy Father's Day, we are more than agreeable to that.
Sounds
like
great.
begging on the
See y'all
air.
a little bit.
All right.
Strawberries.
Thanks, Aaron. All right. We're out of time for this hour. We got much more coming up in hour number 2. Looking forward to chatting with all of you guys as we continue with the open line on this Friday here on Talkback. We're back just after the top of the hour.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting. FM 104.9, AM 970, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3 HD3 Alexandria. It's 8 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
At the really important underground nuclear site at
Tehran calls it a declaration of all-out war. The IDF says 200 Israeli warplanes fired preemptive strikes on Iran overnight, hitting the country's main nuclear enrichment facility. Correspondent Ramy Inocencio.
Strikes and counterstrikes are happening right now. Israel says Iran launched over 100 drones this morning, while Iran says Israel hit at least 2 new sites today. And Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed even more attacks for, quote, as many days as it takes to neutralize Iran.
CBS's Margaret Brennan.
Iran claims that the really important underground nuclear site at Fordow, which is buried deep inside a mountain, has not been impacted. And that is important because it means Iran's nuclear program has not been entirely destroyed at this point.
Iran confirms the head of the Revolutionary Guard's missile program was killed. Israel says other military officials and top nuclear scientists are also dead. Security analyst Joe Cirencioni.
Iran claims that
this is not a one-off. This is not going to be something that is over in 1, 2, 3 days. In order to really put back Iran's nuclear program, you need weeks of sustained attacks.
Israel's strikes are moving the markets. Dow futures are down 420 right now. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
The big way that this conflict is likely to impact the global economy is through the energy market. Over the last couple of months, oil prices have trended lower, but with this action, we see oil prices surging both in the U.S. and overseas.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just met with the lone survivor of the plane that crashed after takeoff yesterday there, with 242 people on board. Several on the ground were killed as well. CBS's Anna Corin reports from Ahmedabad.
Authorities have recovered one of the 2 black boxes from the crash site behind me within 24 hours of that fatal fatal crash. Authorities now one step closer to understanding what caused India's worst aviation disaster in more than a quarter of a century.
The surviving passenger sat in seat 11A in an emergency exit row. A legal back and forth over President Trump's move to send the National Guard and Marines into downtown L.A. to keep watch over demonstrators protesting immigration raids. First, a federal judge ruled the president must return control to Governor Newsom.
He is not above or beyond constitutional constraints.
Late last night, an appeals court stayed that ruling, leaving Mr. Trump in the driver's seat, at least through the weekend. S&P futures down 57. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jean Burns. The 2025 legislative session wrapped up with some sweeping changes made to state government and state law. Here's Sean Richardson.
Leaders for a Better Louisiana Chief Policy Officer Barry Irwin says while the tone was positive, some contentious issues like insurance did raise the temperature in the session.
But at the end of the day, they did pass some fairly significant insurance reform, particularly related to auto insurance.
Irwin says one major change was reorganizing DOTD, aiming to transform the agency into delivering more efficient and effective transportation projects.
It's going to be another thing that's interesting to watch to see if the changes they are making at DOTD actually translate into better roads and quicker delivery of some of these big projects that we're interested in.
I'm Sean Richardson.
With the end of the legislative session, Governor Jeff Landry is hailing it as a huge success. He says a lot was accomplished in just 60 days, including...
We passed the most comprehensive legal reform measures of any other governor, taking on both trial lawyers and insurance companies.
LRN.
The cost of air travel is more than just the ticket price. It's also fuel, meals, lodging, parking, and time. Recalculating. The more we fly AEX, the better our chances of bringing back flights to Houston and Charlotte. Support AEX and help our community grow. Find your true costs at local.flyaex.org.
Good morning. Thunderstorms likely throughout the day today. A 70% chance of that. We'll see afternoon high temperatures near 82 degrees. Few clouds overnight tonight down to 72. And then for Saturday, we're saying a 50% chance of more rain. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. And afternoon high temps near 88. A chance of rain, a 40% chance on Sunday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. Currently 73 degrees in Cenla.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 27 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
And we always love talking with you here on Talkback. 442-8255 is our number on the BOM Bank talk line. Al Quartermont, Stephen Maxwell, and Nathan Martin here this morning. It's the Guys Club here today.
The Bro Show.
Yeah, we had Trish with us the last couple of days. Enjoyed having her on as well. And so
we were talking about receding hairlines.
Yeah, and
how to fix it.
I can't relate. But
Al got that glorious formerly known anchor hair, and it's going well for him. Glad for you.
I feel like Lance Harris and I have like the same hair genes.
That is so true.
You know?
That
what do y'all
true.
do?
I don't know.
Isn't it kind of a Munster thing from the Munsters, that the boy's hair that was always
Eddie?
Yeah.
Was it Eddie that had the hair?
Yeah.
Yep.
Eddie Munster.
Okay.
But he had like the little widow's peak.
He did
in
have the
middle.
widow's peak. That's right.
Yeah, which I don't have. I just have the flat thing.
You just have a perfect hairline. Yeah, we get it.
My uncle, who lives in Kansas, farmer, he's 92 now, I believe, and still flowing mane. So I guess you get your hair from your mom's side, is what they say.
I think so.
Father. Is
Well,
what they say.
on my maternal side, my grandfather and both of my uncles were bald. My uncles were bald by the time they were in their 30s. So it was, my dad he'll be 85 in August, and he's got more. He's still salt and pepper.
Yeah.
And his beard is darker than in his, full head of hair. So I guess that's right. I inherited my mom's family's genes.
I have, as the Bible calls it, hoary hairs, right? Which means just gray. Doesn't mean what you're thinking.
Alrighty. I must have skipped that chapter.
It's HOARY.
That's right.
So a term we don't use a lot these days.
As opposed to old Baldy, prophet Elisha.
That's right. That's right.
I wonder if Methuselah went bald. He lived a long time.
969 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of years.
That is.
How bad would you feel if he had hair for like 1,000 years and I lost mine at 29?
This is what an all guys morning show turns into, unfortunately.
Yeah, the hair club for men.
I'm not just a customer.
That's right. All right, let's go to the phone. We got a call that's been waiting for a while. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Speaking of bald men, people like you, Al, are up there to make us all jealous, and you serve your purpose well.
Thanks.
I appreciate y'all having Mr. Randy on there. He gives such a great depth of perspective on all the issues of the day. But I was actually wanting to call back about the Israeli attacks on Iran and the attempts to decapitate that dark regime. I'm never happy when anyone dies because I know what I deserve. But I am so glad that the IDF is executing these attacks. I hope they will press the attack, and the Lord will bless their efforts to take out every one of those guys that have stirred their country up to chant things like "Death to America" and "Death to Israel" every day. Every day when they close their Knesset, that's what they shout. And I'm especially concerned because some people have glommed onto the Trump administration who say they're for peace through strength. But then, I don't know if y'all heard last week, but Tulsi Gabbard came out with this out of left field condemnation of the United States of America for dropping the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, called us evil, and went on to give a good, accurate description of the horrors of nuclear war, but then also made a plea that what's happening in Iran is none of our business. And we do not need another North Korea. Reagan was successful in getting Gaddafi to get rid of his nuclear ambitions. And he paid with his life. So eventually, once Obama got there, and so a lot of these bad guys are thinking, I've got to get nuclear weapons or I'm never going to last. And then we do not need a world with more nuclear weapons, especially because they're getting smaller and more affordable. And the drone thing is scary, but drones that are capable of carrying a nuclear payload, that is really, really scary. So I don't know how many people are with her. I know Tucker Carlson has gone wacko over the last 6 to 12 months, and it's not just that they're isolationists, and they would say they're not, but they don't want America using its power anywhere. And I used to be against America being the world's police department until I grew up and I realized without police, the world is a bad place. And when the bad guys have nuclear weapons, or we just caught 3 Chinese people working in American universities that were working on agra warfare weapons that could cause starvation in our country. We've got to deal with the bad guys. And so I'm glad President Trump didn't block him. Sometimes he wavers a little bit depending on who last got his ear. And I know Tulsi Gabbard and Tucker Carlson have a big voice. So, anyways, thanks for letting me speak my piece. I hope y'all have a great weekend and happy Father's Day to y'all as well.
All right, thanks.
It's been interesting to see the different ideologies in the Republican Party when it comes to foreign policy, isolationism, the neocons, and I even think I heard Mark Levin, he's been straying away from the president as well.
Well,
on that
Candace,
issue.
Candace Owen has taken a hard turn, from Ben Shapiro and against Israel. So I think, though, if Dave were still on the line, he'd probably say that is the beauty of the Republican Party, is that you allow this kind of dissent and conversation versus, in his mind, or as I've heard him articulate, the Democratic Party has to be monolithic in their thinking or you're not accepted and welcomed. I have seen people make comments about, being welcomed with divergent thoughts. And apparently that's being allowed right now. But it is odd to me that the change to the left, or the change, I hate to say the left, but the divergence that we have in thinking, like you say, Mark Levin, who's consistently been a super conservative voice.
I think a lot of people on the left, too, are more upset with the Democratic Party than Republicans because the party is completely kiboshed the progressive wing of it, even in 2016 when it came to Sanders and the convention.
Yeah, good point.
They don't let it happen.
It's interesting. There was a graphic that was going around on Twitter yesterday. It's kind of like a chart that showed diversity of opinion from blue to red, and blue was really small and concentrated, and red was like wide open.
And that's my point.
Yeah. So it does seem like the Republicans have become a little bit more of a big tent, if you will, use an old political phrase. Trump's Republican Party has certainly brought in many more diverse voices than we've had in the past. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard, and Elon Musk, and RFK Jr. So that we are seeing that change, but the topic of Israel does seem to be one where there's not a lot of unity of opinion and thought there. People either are very, very, very strongly pro-Israel, or a lot of people are like, well, maybe Israel's creating a lot of the problems that we're having to deal with. So it kind of goes both ways.
It does. And for me, I've been a pro-Israel person for probably because of my theology.
I was just going to ask you, don't you think that a lot of even, I think, American foreign policy toward the Middle East, specifically Israel, has been based on dispensational theology?
It has been.
100%.
Yeah. It was interesting last night. I was at a Juneteenth event in Alexandria. The speaker was from Houston. And I remember he made this line, if your theology is not right, your anthropology will be wrong. If you're thinking about God is not right from Genesis 1 and 2, you're thinking about man will be wrong. And then if your anthropology is wrong, your sociology will be wrong. And it really resonated with me, in his point of theology affecting all of our ways of thinking. But like you mentioned, dispensationism is a part of theology. It's not necessarily universally agreed upon.
No, certainly isn't.
Quick explanation of that, please.
I'll let Nathan explain.
Well, dispensationism would be the idea that God has certain dispensations or time frames, and the traditional understanding is that there is a role for Israel in the end times. And so Christians should pray for Israel, should stand with Israel, pray for Jerusalem, because they will have a pivotal role in the return of Jesus Christ.
I'd say that is greatly impacting our foreign policy.
No, there's no question about it. And especially when you look at someone like a Billy Graham, how much influence he had over many presidents during his lifetime. I'm sure that was a lot of the discussion point, too.
I think it even maybe influences some things that Israel might do here in America, or it influences Americans on some things Israel does that may not be very savory, but they believe in that theology to the core.
Right.
But then you have others who, see them as Zionists and are rejecting of that. And then there's some within the Christian church that view the church has replaced Israel in God's long-term prophetical stance. And so don't worry about physical Israel. The church is, I'm not trying to get in the theological hour, but that's kind of, those thinkings do drive people's theological or political perspectives.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's take a break. When we come back, Aaron Atwood's going to jump in with us, and we'll take more of your calls here on a Friday Talkback.
My favorite guest
is sponsored by The Clinics, with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Word's out. Chef John is at it again this Father's Day. Dad eats free at Quibido's Cajun Cafe in Pineville. We're celebrating Dad with a special menu just for him and the family. Choose from stuffed catfish, tender prime sliced beef, juicy stuffed pork loin, or blackened chicken pasta. It's dine-in only from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and tables will fill fast, so plan to come early. Dad dines free when he's joined by his family. So whether you call him Dad, Papa, or Papi, bring him to Quibido's Cajun Cafe in Pineville.
Success is about momentum. For over 20 years, Kinetics has been moving businesses forward with cutting-edge IT, cybersecurity, and marketing solutions while keeping them secure, innovative, and competitive. We power progress with next-gen business technology and marketing solutions designed to keep your business ahead of the competition. Need seamless IT, a bold new brand, a strategy built for what's next? Don't get left behind. Move forward with Kinetics. Visit kbisp.com and take the next step today.
Live from the red carpet where the stars shine brighter than the spotlight. It's the moment we've been waiting for. From stunning to jaw-dropping, the red carpet has it all tonight. First up, Perfection Pays, especially intense. Score a 10 and play perfect tens from the lottery. Win up to $5,000. It's the perfect time to win. Next up, triple the fun, triple the cash. Why settle for one prize when you can triple up? Play triple play, win up to $12,000. The glitter, the glamour. This ticket is fabulous. Play Fab 5. Top prize, $155,555. Follow the red carpet to any lottery retailer and pick up Perfect Tens, Triple Play, and Fab 5 today. Louisiana Lottery, giving you a reason to shine. Must be at least 21 to purchase.
You see them almost everywhere. Panhandlers, standing on the corner with a sign. But the fact is, a lot of sinless homeless are unseen. And these are the people Central Louisiana Homeless Coalition is committed to help. Those in need can come in for a shower, do laundry, set up a mailing address, and connect with other local charities and housing programs. If you want to support people who are actually helping people, go online to Central Louisiana Homeless Coalition.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talkback.
I promise you we'll get to our calls in just a second, but Aaron Atwood just stopped in, gave us a little teaser in the 7 o'clock hour. He's here with goodies.
And that's
I've already eaten too. So if my blood glucose monitor goes off, you'll know why.
Red light.
Let's see. I don't know if people can see this box. I'm going to try to hold it up to the camera.
More. There you go.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Look at that. There are two holes in it. Well, there's one less chocolate chip cookie.
I'm partial to those lemon squares.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't eat one of those.
Chocolate. I just need something with chocolate.
What are these things? The round...
Mini dough bosh.
Mini dough bosh.
Yellow pound cake layers with chocolate rum pudding filling, iced in fudge.
Yeah, that was good. That was fire.
Really
good. That was fire. So we also have some scones here. Yeah, no cap. Nathan knows what that means.
Bet.
Here, I want to give it back to Steven.
Okay, good.
So, Nathan, you want
Nathan, what do you want?
Pass those guns
Well,
over. I'll get a shot in Nathan's camera over here for those of you who are on the Facebook.
Oh, look at we've got a cake too. Yeah. It's a golf ball cake.
What a coincidence!
Wow, we were just talking about golf.
Somebody came into the bakery and they saw a display cake that has a bunch of tools on it. It says Happy Father's Day. And they're like, yeah, you couldn't do that with Mother's Day with like a vacuum cleaner and a skillet.
Oh, no. Shots fired.
Wow. So, what about Father's Day? Is it a big seller weekend for you?
No, I mean it's kind of casual. We do a lot more pies. People kind of have gotten the idea that Father has so many ties and he has so many mugs and he has so many. I don't mind like handprints and stuff like that in paint. That's awesome.
Yeah,
love those. I have a bunch of those at the house. But sometimes just something delicious because that way you don't have to keep it. You can be like, oh, thanks for the bag of chocolate chip cookies. Now leave me alone. Let me eat them.
Right. I was about to say the perfect cake for Father's Day is just right peace and quiet.
Yeah,
that's all we really want.
Nathan's chowing down on one of those.
Mini dobosh.
Mini dobosh.
Because we actually do a whole cake that's the dobosh, and then we do a tall one that's massive and delicious.
Nathan, I'd give you some napkins, but we seem to be out of napkins in the studio right now. Inside joke.
I spilled coffee the other day.
Oh, no.
And Al, I come in this morning, he's like, my keyboard's sticky. Yeah, right. I've heard rumors that my stuff is the only thing that's allowed to be eaten in the booth. Like anybody else brings food in the booth, you can't bring your own snacks in here. But whenever I bring some, it's okay.
That sound y'all just heard was Nathan licking his fingers, by the way.
Can you really hear that?
Yeah, you can hear it.
That's better than the sucking sound.
The giant sucking sound. He is not allowed to ever do again.
Well, if he had napkins, we'd be good. So,
hey, finger licking good is all I'm saying.
Better than KFC.
So,
all right.
No residue.
So if people want to take Dad out for an early breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be open for breakfast and lunch all day today from 7 to 1:45. So you can get waffle in the afternoon or whatnot because the kids are out of school and it's a little less crazy on Fridays than it is Saturdays.
Yeah.
But then Saturdays is the day we do shrimp and grits and we do strawberry pancakes for a couple more weeks. There's a certain dad in here who would like some strawberry pancakes.
Strawberry pancakes.
Hint, hint, if the family's listening.
We used to go all the time for that. All the time.
But, that's going to be today and tomorrow from 7 to 1:45 for breakfast items, lunch. So if you want to Philly cheesesteak at 7 in the morning, or if you want, strawberry pancakes at 1:30 in the afternoon, we got you covered. And then all the traditional goodies in the showcase. The only thing we want to remind people of is if there's something particular, like Dad's got his heart set on a key lime pie, or Dad's got his heart set on, classic lemon meringue, sugar-free coconut, sugar-free chocolate, call today and order it for tomorrow so that way we can have it. We'll have some pies in the showcase where you can just come and grab them, like strawberry pies and deep dish pecan and all that. But, if your heart's set on pecan, you may miss out because somebody might get there right before you. But if you order it, locked in.
Like somebody came in this morning and bought all the croissants, right?
Somebody came in this morning and wiped out all the sausage, egg, and cheese and bacon, egg, and cheese croissants.
Wow.
Now we still have the almond croissants and some chocolate ones and some scones like the ones I brought y'all. But sometimes it happens where somebody just comes in and gets a whole bunch, or we'll have 3 or 4 people that each get like two, and they're gone.
Yeah.
And so we make as many as we can to make sure that it's one of those tricks, because if you make too many, then you throw them away, or actually we donate ours, but if you make not enough, then people don't get any. And so it's a nice little balance, but generally we take all of our leftover pastries and things at the end of the day because they don't roll over to the next day. And we have a couple different churches that pick them up and give them out with their packages for homeless. And then we also do Manna House and do a lot with Manna House, and sometimes we'll drop off stuff for the Salvation Army. And
that's awesome.
That's amazing.
So everybody's like, what happens to all these goodies whenever nobody buys them? Can I get them at discount at closing? No, because we give them to somebody already.
Well,
I can come there and do a story on them. That's a good one. Yeah.
Nathan's like, I've got a church. I'll pick them up.
Get in line. We got about 3 other churches signed up, but you can get that for the weekend. Not a problem.
That's great. Sure, I'll give them to the homeless.
I'm homeless between here and the house.
I'm in the car. That's homeless right now.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Aaron, thanks so much for stopping in today. We
not
appreciate
a problem
it.
at all.
Always.
Thank you.
Been enjoying the show today, but
Thanks.
I just want to remind everybody to at least, you don't have to go out and get something for Dad. So honestly, most of us are fine. We're happy. We're just doing our thing. Just, a great big hug and, not asking us to mow the lawn on Sunday.
That's it. There you go.
I'm not taking out the trash till Monday.
Yeah. And some Atwood's goodies.
There you go.
All right. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All
No
right.
problem at all.
Yes, sir. We've got some calls coming in. Let's go ahead and jump on those. They've been waiting patiently. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Y'all are having too much fun. I want to come up there to see something.
Yeah. Hey, we got a few extras if you want to stop by.
No, I don't have no way to get up there. Look, I just wanted to tell y'all, I hope all 4 of y'all. I hope Big Atwood is up there because I love Mr. Atwood. Big Steve, it's good to have you back. So,
thank you. So I was wondering when you're going to call in.
It's gonna be fun to have all 3 of y'all up there doing the show, and then you're gonna be doing news and stuff. So that'll be real interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'll be happy. Maybe you come by and interview me in person one day. But
I will.
I wanted to wish the audience a happy and blessed Father's Day coming up. Happy birthday tomorrow to President Trump. And especially happy birthday to the Army.
Yes.
They'll be 250 years old tomorrow. In the City Council meeting on June the 17th, Peabody's ROTC is going to bring the colors and everything. So that's a special thing. I hope a lot of people watch Urban Cast or KLB or KLS or whoever will be there, or go to YouTube, and the City Council will have it live, and Optimum Channel 4 will have it live, because that's something we need to get our young people more involved with government. So that's going to be a nice thing they're doing for the Army's 250th birthday, and then Juneteenth that next week, Thursday also. But I wanted to hit y'all with something, and y'all are all preachers and Bible-believing people. I think we're in the end times, gentlemen, and this attack that Israel is doing on Iran, I believe it's biblical, and can't let them have nukes. Now, I was in 79, I just joined the military police corps and went to Fort McClellan, which is in Anniston, Alabama. There's no more Fort McClellan now. They closed it down. But when President Carter was leaving and President Reagan was taking over, our drill sergeants was getting us ready for war with Iran then in 79 and 80. They said, if they don't release those hostages, boys, we're all going to war. I was in the Louisiana Army National Guard, and we had a few reservists and, of course, the regulars. And the reservists and the regulars, you know, we thought we were 1 weekend in the month and 2 weeks in the summer. I was going to school at Louisiana Tech then, too. And we were all nervous. But you know what? What brought us together was we love a country and love of the flag. And that's what brought us all together. But, yeah, we were supposed to go to war back there in 79 and 80 if they didn't release those hostages. So glad Israel's doing it. A lot of this replacement theology and stuff, and we've let all these militant Muslims, not the nice Muslims, but we've let all these militant Muslims, all these illegals in here, and it seems like it's a backdoor, fifth column that's come in. Yeah. They said it's supposed to have some, not here in Alexandria, but it's supposed to be I was watching News Nation, and some type of Trump protest, no Clinton protest.
Right, yeah.
He was Abbott calling out his National Guard to, put out. Right. So if I was in the National Guard, I'd be called out as military police.
Yep.
Put down the rebellion.
Yes, sir. All right, Cornelius, thanks so much for.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate the call. Let's get one more in before we take our break here. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, yeah, I looked up Robert Kennedy Jr.'s appointments to the new vaccine recommendation committee, and they're all solid choices as far as I know. One of them was Dr. Robert Malone, which is great.
Right. Wow.
There was one interesting one with Dr. Meisner. He previously was on the committee, and he was from 2008, 2012. Now, he supported COVID vaccines, but he was against masking of children, and he was against vaccination of children and pregnant women.
Okay.
And then I looked up one of the guys that was dismissed from the committee. I wrote Cassidy a letter that you apparently said in a social media post. Now the fear is that the ACIP will be filled with people who know nothing about vaccines except suspicion. I looked up one of the doctors dismissed from the committee, Edwin Asturias, MD, pediatrician from Colorado. I'm not sure of his expertise when it came to vaccines. He definitely had it together when it came in and raking in money from pharma and vaccine manufacturers. And Dollars for Docs revealed the following. 2014, he got $79,973 from Janssen Global, which is a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, and Takeda Vaccine, which is a Japanese vaccine manufacturer. From 2017 to 2023, he got $257,000 for research, whatever that means. 2018, he got $15,139 from Merck and Pfizer. Only $44 of that was from Pfizer. In 2023, he had a slow year. He only got $4,256. I said, he's the only one I looked up. But if I had researched the other dismissed members, I'm fairly sure I would have had similar results. Cassidy, he's a dirtball.
It's kind of interesting time now in politics. When's the last time we've talked about a CDC advisory board?
Right. Is that Robert Malone the same guy that invented mRNA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then they later turned around and said, hey, this is not the panacea you think it is.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm sure the same guy.
He didn't have anything to do with the shop. He was one of the developers of mRNA technology, but he came out originally with he was against the mandate. He recommended only for people over 65 and people with comorbidities. And then later on, as all the bad stuff started coming out the vaccine, he turned against it totally. He wanted it stopped, period.
Yep. All right. Thank you for the call and the update. We appreciate it. We need to take a break. More calls coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Futures point to a drop at the opening bell on Wall Street, although they've improved some from earlier as crude oil prices surge. They have pared some of their gains after Israel attacked Iran's nuclear program sites. In corporate news, Kenvue may be looking to sell off some of its skincare and beauty brands as it faces shareholder pressure. Reuters reported that the consumer health business that used to be part of Johnson & Johnson may sell brands Clean and Clear and Maui Moisture, but hold on to bigger names like its Neutrogena and Aveeno brands. Kenvue also owns many other brands, including Tylenol and Listerine. The retailer once known as Restoration Hardware is sticking with its full-year outlook, a relief for investors who'd worried that tariffs and the weak housing market would hurt performance. RH did say that revenue would be hurt in this quarter, but that the company would make up for it in the second half of the year. Once again, futures are lower. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Summertime in Sinlaw is here. Time to explore. Feeling adventurous? Go biking or hiking in the National Forest, or camping at the many recreation areas that offer canoeing, kayaking, boating, and fishing. Fun for the whole family. Check out the animals at the zoo, on a petting farm, or at a drive-through safari. Love golf? Then hit the links. And for those with a taste for freshness, don't miss our farmers market. Want more ideas? Go to explorealexandriapineville.com. 2 cities, 1 epic summer.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Matthew.
Sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Good morning. Thunderstorms likely throughout the day today. A 70% chance of that. We'll see afternoon high temperatures near 82 degrees. Few clouds overnight tonight down to 72. And then for Saturday, we're saying a 50% chance of more rain, partly to mostly cloudy skies. And afternoon high temps near 88. A chance of rain, a 40% chance on Sunday. From the Senlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian. 74 degrees in Senlaw. Now back to Talkback, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we are back here on this Friday, 442-8255, our number on the BOM Bank talk line. We've got a lot of great calls so far this morning. Let's keep that rolling. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning, Pastor Al and Pastor Dave. I've been out and keeping quiet for a while.
Yeah, we haven't heard from you. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, but I just got tired of being sound like a broken record talking about them Democrats. But you know, they ain't in the White House, but they still got it going on, though. They in total control, but God is in control over all of us. And I want to wish you guys a happy Father's Day and wish all the listeners, fathers, a happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
And like I say, I'm the preaching woman. My mom, when I was born in '53, and my dad, he was the ordained deacon, and he died a deacon in his bed with his Bible and Sunday school book in his bed. And my mom sung in the choir, but she went astray. And that's a true saying that a person that has started serving God, they are turned to the street. And that's a true saying. But I moved back from California from 73 to 89 to come back and be with my mom and dad. And so my purpose was to come back and lead my mom back to God. So I know that she gave her life back over to God, but my daddy, he didn't ever change. Yeah, and I listen at you on the radio on Sunday morning when you come on and you teach real good and read the scripture, and then you minister and talk about the word, and that's what people need to just really read the scriptures and then discuss it so a person could understand. But a lot of people are thinking that they serving God, and I often say to myself, what's going on and what people are doing in the world and preachers and all out there thinking and saying they serving God and doing things and cursing and all kind of stuff that they are doing. And the Bible says, don't think that you're going to go unjudged. So whatever you're doing and sinning and thinking you're serving God, you're not serving God, you're serving your father, the devil. So people, they need to read, get in that Bible and take a look and judge themselves to see and ask themselves, do they think they're really serving God or serving the world or man? Yourself or man.
Right.
So y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Wish everybody happy Father's Day. Say my dad died in '06 and my mom died in '12. But I own my own little piece of property, and it was a trailer that was a store before I left in the '70s. And my dad had bought it, so I had turned it into a one-bedroom. So I have my own little property by moving back home that my dad was, always was trying to accomplish something.
Right.
They didn't go to school. My mom say they went to school like in a church. She was about the second or the third level. And my dad, not at all, but he had all kind of wisdom and knowledge. And he could even build a house. He turned the shotgun house where I live in Wardville and Pineville. This area was nothing but shotgun houses when I was born up until I left in '73. Some was still here in Wardville. I don't know if you ever heard of Sunlight Baptist Church.
I've been there. Frank
Wardville.
Jackson was the pastor there before he went to St. Matthew and Boyce.
Pastor Jackson. Yeah, Pastor Jackson. He was in the National Guard, and he was a pastor. Yeah. And a lot of preachers came through that church, but it was my cousin that was there. He'll bring them there and put them out. But I said one day God was going to move him, and he did. He did. He moved him out of there because he was going to fight with this Bobby Rowland. Do you know Bobby Rowland?
I don't know. I know a lot of Rowlands. I don't know if I know that one.
He was from the Sonia quarters. He was a pastor. He went back to St. Matthew.
Okay.
Bobby Rowland, young. Yep, but it's a young preacher there. He been there since 15, and everybody is dead and gone now that was, in that church, except two cousins of mine. So they had their church anniversary Sunday. So I told him God blessed him with that church. It was paid for by this one lady probably and her husband because they had a lot of money. When they had moved it from where it was into another street in Waterville, and then they moved it back up here and made it a brick church.
Right. Awesome.
So they are a young family. So where's your church at, Pastor Dave?
Well, my church is I pastor Christian Challenge in Pineville, which is on Pierce Road behind Lowe's. It's kind of hard to find, so I have a logo I'm going to put on the sign that says "You have to be lost to find us." I think that might work.
That's good.
Yeah, that's not that big old church. Is it off of 160 off of that freeway?
No, no, ma'am.
Back up in there.
It's kind of back in a subdivision. It's in a subdivision area between Military Highway and Donahue Ferry. So it's back on a small road called Pierce Road.
Yeah.
You want to get lost? Go to House Church. Good luck finding that one.
Yeah. Up in grandparents.
Yeah. I'm gonna look you up, and I've been sick with fungus infection for 12 years. It started out with fungus in both of my big toes, and I was digging my ingrown toenails out in 13, and it set up bacteria and infection. And the doctors wouldn't test me for fungus, so that it wouldn't treat me or nothing. And it went on for 12 years. But I left in 22 and went to Nebraska and got medicine and killed the bacteria. Great. But the infection is still in my feet. But I'm a lot better, and I take a herbal vitamin called Timaril. And then Timaril is for inflammation and joint pain. So this is Trivita. It's a company, a herbal vitamin company, and all their medicine is herbal vitamin.
Well, I'm glad you're doing better.
And it's called Trivita.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, my legs was black, and I was cooked like I was burnt over fire for 10 years, just raw. But I started taking the Trivita in January, and now my skin then came back. My legs is healing with my legs and turned back brown.
Nice. Well, thank you for the call this morning.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Yes, God bless you, Mr.
Maybe one Sunday, Pastor Dave, I can give you a call, and if y'all pick up, I can come to church because I haven't been going to church.
We would be delighted.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a blessed day.
God bless you, Miss Jeanette.
Yep, thank you. We need to take a break.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
The Clinics welcome Dr. Noah Miller, family medicine physician, to our team. Dr. Miller from Vadrine, Louisiana, is now accepting new patients. Call today to schedule your appointment. The Clinics offers a wide range of services, including primary care, family and chronic care, urgent and acute care with on-site lab and x-ray. Same-day appointments are available, and we accept most insurance and Medicare. Experience exceptional care at the Clinics, 1587 North Bolton. Call 445-9823 or look us up online at theclinics.us.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of Cenla's best at Bricato's restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt-in-your-mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
At Zenlaw Broadcasting, we're very proud of our 10 local radio stations. One of those is Magic 100.9, but we play light favorites of the 80s,
Not everybody has got a body like you.
90s, and more.
Easy on me.
All of your light favorites with very little talk. Give us a try sometime. Magic 100.9.
Cenla Broadcasting is local, so we promote the locals.
Beneath a canopy of mighty oaks, towering cypress trees, and colorful bamboo, discover over 500 remarkable animals from all over the world. The Alexandria Zoo is the area's largest year-round family attraction. Come explore a natural world filled with hoots, howls, and roars, right here in the heart of Central Louisiana. Learn more about it or volunteer at thealexandriazoo.com.
This has been a public service reminder from Cenla Broadcasting.
Did you know more women under 40 are getting breast cancer? Especially Black and Jewish women whose cancers are often more deadly. If you're a woman, talk to your doctor by age 25 about your breast cancer risk. The American College of Radiology recommends you ask your doctor if you should get a mammogram before age 40. Need other tests like an MRI with your yearly mammogram, or should be checked more than once a year. For more information, visit mammography-saves-lives.org.
Freedom from drug addiction happens in NA meetings. It is possible to stop using drugs, and they can help. Call Narcotics Anonymous at 1-585-DON'T-USE or visit their website at larna.org for more information.
To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
And I may have to force something. Somebody said, "Who's the genius that thought of that?" I said, "It's me." Unlike Biden, I stay awake at night thinking about how to save our country. He was much better at sleeping than me. Could sleep on a beach. He could sleep on a beach with cameras rolling. I can't do that. But I had an idea. I gave it. They said, "This is really, we'll go short term for a year. Let this guy get out."
President Trump, sometimes I feel like he's doing stand-up comedy.
Hey, we caught him sleeping not too long ago in the Middle East.
That's
he
true.
was nodding off.
Did you ever see, is it Shane Gillis, like, do his impersonations of Trump, like, whether it's the debates or press conferences?
I don't think so.
Oh, you've never seen any of
Shane
this?
Gillis,
Oh, my goodness. When he talks about...
Oh, SNL?
He's hosted SNL a couple times.
Okay, I don't know.
He actually was a cast member for a short time, but they got rid of him, and then he became a very successful stand-up comedian.
Oh.
But if you find some of his stuff, where he's a spot-on impersonator of Trump. But like when they killed, was it Zarqawi, whatever, one of the terrorists?
Mm-hmm.
He died like a dog.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
You got to see it. Anyway, welcome back. 442-8255 on the Beyond Bank Talk line. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Yeah. Apparently, there's some sort of protest going on tomorrow in Alexandria and around the country about no one is a king.
Right.
Well, I seem to recall that Mr. Obama reported very widely that he had a phone and, a pen. Now, that suggests to me a king complex.
You know, I think in every president, there's probably a little bit of a king complex, but with Trump, I mean, I think a lot of it too has been media coverage, the way he's portrayed, even things at times that he says makes people feel that way. But I don't think that's it at all. I think he truly sees having a mandate from the people to change the country for the better, especially when it comes to things like illegal immigration, the tariffs, which actually are starting to have a pretty positive effect. And I know they're going to announce some more things next week. So, he is very polarizing. People either love him or hate him. And to some extent, Obama was that way too.
That's what we were talking about. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I would point out that how many executive orders did Mr. Biden sign in his first week?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like to me he basically ruined the border within the first 24 hours.
And that's the one thing that I was talking to Al about this yesterday, that I don't like when Obama was president, conservatives consistently were upset with all the fiats and executive orders. But when it benefits them, it's just because we have a mandate. So I think we need to actually put things into law and stop having things fluctuate back and forth depending on who the president is.
It's really an indictment of Congress, that Congress can't get anything done. So, and every time they do a bill, it's these giant bills
designed to be that way.
Yeah, these giant bills with 80 million things in them instead of just taking one issue at a time.
Yep.
You know, so
I think both sides can agree Congress is pretty ineffective.
Well, the one thing I remembered from taking American history was how Congress was somewhat less than effective throughout time.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, that's not all bad, that there's gridlock. But at other times, it's just, I'm sure it's frustrating because the presidents are going to come in. They've got 4 years. They know their time is short. They have an agenda. They're going to try to get as much of it rammed through that they can. So, and then it's kind of up to the people if they want to vote for them the next time, unless they're term limited. So.
And we talk about mandates. I mean, it's still extraordinarily close. So we keep seeing it flip back and forth like this. And like for DEI, for example, whether you like it or not, you know, we had this whole movement to where all these companies were implementing these things. It was a popular thing. 3 years later, we're not doing that anymore. I mean, it has big implications, you know? So that's the way it is. And that protest you're talking about, that on the website called No Kings, they say there is one in Alexandria tomorrow from 12 to 2 at the Alexander Fulton Mini Park. Who knows who'll go? I don't know. So, but it is scheduled.
All right.
Well, I hope they don't. I hope they have fire extinguishers.
We'll see. All right. Thanks for the call. We do need to take a break. More calls.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics with 27 providers and 3 locations. Someone can see you today. Stick around. More of Talkback is on the way.
Imagine walking where land meets sea, where every step echoes centuries of stories. This is the Portuguese coastal Camino de Santiago. From Porto's riverside charm to Galicia's wild coast, follow a path through fishing villages, ancient chapels, and windswept beaches. Walk the Camino. Feel the call. It's more than a journey, it's a transformation. Join our small group, escorted by Christine and Father Joy, in May of 2026. FreedomTravelLLC.com, your international travel architects.
You too could have a beautiful smile in as little as 12 weeks. Exclusive to Today's Dental in Pineville. Virtual Align Clear Aligners. The fastest, most convenient, affordable way to straighten your teeth for people on the go. Plus, they're invisible. No one will know you're doing it. Experience the virtual Align difference. Call Today's Dental at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. We are your community. For screening, treatment, and survivorship support, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org.
Your local radio company is Sinlaw Broadcasting. We're all about local.
The Junior League of Alexandria is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving communities through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Our Junior League awards scholarships to girls, grants to nonprofit organizations, and has operated the New to You thrift shop since the 1940s. Learn more at jlalexandria.com.
This has been a public service reminder from Sinlaw Broadcasting.
There's no better descriptions than to say St. Jude is a place of hope. My name is Lindsay. I'm alive today because of this incredible hospital and the generosity of so many who wanted to support it.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part of the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK.
We've been locked and loaded with calls today. I had a whole bunch of prep work for the session, like what happened yesterday.
Right, we haven't even talked about
Not one stitch.
$53 million budget.
Yeah, maybe
we
on
can talk about it.
Maybe on Monday. We'll get to that. So let's go back to our calls. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning, you guys. I usually call, I'm from Chicago, and I usually call about crypto. I usually call about cryptocurrency, but I'm going to wait till next week because that's going to be a week that's really going to have some things happen. But look, Mexicans are being used, and they're being exploited for this King's protests and all this stuff going on in LA. This is a professional job. Now, I'm in Chicago, and I'm seeing it everywhere. It's absolutely insane, on top of the crime that's already happening. But I need everyone to look into this, and this is where the road will lead. It's the Party for Socialism and Liberation, okay? They are the actual Communist Party. And the guy behind, allegedly, is a billionaire software seller. His name is Neville Roy Stingham, okay? This guy is behind all of it. Look into there. All roads lead to that, and people, your eyes will be opened up very brightly. And you know what? I really appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. It's been a great week of talk. I was finally able to get in here, but I appreciate it. And next week you're going to hear a lot from me, and I appreciate you giving me a minute to help the people of Louisiana. And I think I have a new name for your governor. It's J.B. Tate. Is that his name? J.B. Tate?
J.B. Landry.
Have a good weekend.
I still like Huey Landry. That's my favorite. One of our callers gave him. By the way, what he's talking about, Chris Cuomo on News Nation the other day did about a 4-minute thing about this and where the money is coming from, and it leads to that guy. So
hold on, Chris Cuomo?
Chris Cuomo. So
formerly of CNN?
Yeah.
He is doing pretty good.
He really is.
I mean, if you can find that clip, watch it, because it really gives you the true perspective of this is not an organic grassroots thing. And even one of the Walmart heiresses
she
has been involved in this too.
I think that's like almost every political thing, though. A billionaire behind it.
Yeah, that's so true. You know. So, all right, another call. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Good morning. Really enjoy the show, Stephen. Welcome back to Central Louisiana.
Thank you.
I've got a thing for you to put on your agenda that I've thought about for a while. KSYL needs to sponsor a breakfast for all of these people who call in every day, and meet at one of your local advertisers at Brocado's maybe, and everybody, pay for their own way, but everybody could get together. Do a live remote one morning. So put that on your agenda and work it out with Taylor and Charlie, and let's make it happen.
What do you want to eat?
I really enjoyed the show.
That's a really fun idea.
Yeah. Brocado's, Atwood's.
That's right. Alternate.
Yeah.
Once a quarter.
Thanks for the suggestion. Thanks for all the great calls today, Nathan. Appreciate you being on. You'll be back Tuesday. You'll be on regularly Tuesdays with
I'll be
Steven.
the Tuesday guy. That's right.
Designated Tuesday hitter.
That's right. Thank you, guys. Enjoying it and looking forward to what happens next.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Steven, have a great weekend.
I will.
Get a little rest.
I'll be working Saturday.
Happy Father's Day to both of you guys.
You too.
Likewise.
You
are the Uber dad between the three of us.
The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting.
FM 104.9, AM 970.